Did you know there are 3 different ways that you can write the equation of a line? They're all related to each other, and you can switch back and forth between them often. So don't get stuck on one form versus the other. Really, they're all the same thing, we just manipulate them with algebra a little bit. So here's our foldable for today, forms of linear equations. That part that says remove this flap, go ahead and cut that flap off. Do you see how mine doesn't have that flap? Then you fold it over, and we've got a flap for each type of linear equation. So again, this is just a way to write a line. These aren't different lines. We can write the same line in different ways. And what you'll find is as we get higher and higher in math, we use point-slope form more than any other form. So back in elementary or middle school, when you learn about lines, you use slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And then you get into standard form a little bit later. And then point-slope form usually comes at the end, which is so crazy because it's the easiest one. It is like the best, I'm telling you. So let's take a look at some of these and figure out how to write them. So first, we have slope-intercept form. This is the one that you know very well. I have a song about it we could sing. What does y equal? Mx plus b. What does y equal? Anyway, it's great. So y equals mx plus b. And if you remember that if you see a line in this form, you automatically know that m is the slope and that b is the y-intercept, meaning it's where it crosses the y-axis. So when you see a line written like this, you can get this information from it to graph it. If you have the slope and the intercept, you can write this equation. And we'll see an example of that here in a minute. Point-slope form sounds really complicated, but it's actually really easy. So it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And basically the idea is m is the slope. So if you have a slope, you can write this. And then x1, y1 is any point. So the awesome thing about point-slope form is that you don't have to know the intercept, right? So you can say, I want to write the equation of a line that goes through the point 3, 5 and has a slope of 2. You can write that without having to figure out what the x-intercept or the y-intercept of that line is. It's so easy. All right. And last but not least, we have point-slope form, or not point-slope form, sorry, standard form. This is ax plus by equals c. Ooh, I should put that up so you can see it. Or not. There we go. Ax plus by equals c. And so one of the rules for this one is a, b, and c have to be integers. And so remember, the definition of integers means there's no fractions or decimals. So a, b, and c have to be whole numbers. And when I say whole numbers, I mean positive or negative. If you can, it's very good practice to make a positive. There are times when it could still be considered in standard form if a is not positive, but truly as we get into the level of math that we're in now, a should just be positive. Okay, so these are the 3 different forms of a line. So how do I know which form to use, and how do I know which form I have? So imagine for a moment that you want to write the equation of a line, and we're going to write it in slope-intercept form. And so I say I want to write the equation of a line that has a slope of 2/3 and goes through, or has an intercept of 0.5. So to write the equation of the line, I just y equals, well, the slope is 2/3 x, and then the intercept is b. That's it. That's the whole thing. But remember, that's not usually what we get to see. Usually we have things that we have a slope, but we don't have the intercept. So what if I said I want a line that has a slope of 2/3, but I want it to go through the point 5, -2. How would I write that? Well, I would remember this is y1 m times x minus x1. So we take this point right here, we take the x value and we put it here, we take the y value, we put it here, we take the slope and we put it here. So we have y minus -2, which is y plus 2, equals 2/3 times x minus 5. And that's it. That's the entire equation of a line in point-slope form. And you might be like, but that looks so messy. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's totally fine. We can just leave it like that. And we can actually graph a line from this. We could graph this point, because we can tell this is the point 5, -2, and then we could just use that slope to graph it. So you can go back and forth between these. There are times when you'll start by writing it this way, and then you'll use math to get it to the slope-intercept form because you need the intercept. There are times when you'll write it this way, and then you'll get it into standard form. It doesn't really matter. What I want you to remember is in standard form, the numbers in front of the a and the x and the y don't tell us anything. We can use standard form really well to find intercepts. It's actually really nice to do intercepts with something called the cover-up method, which we won't go over right now. But truly, a lot of times people see it in this form and go, okay, which one's the slope? Is it this one? Is it this one? Which one's the slope? None of them are the slope. You have to do math to get it into this form before you can find the slope. So there you go. Slope-intercept form, point-slope form, and standard form. I would definitely say get to know point-slope form better and better. It is definitely the form that we are going to use basically from now on.